Hi friends, welcome to the channel Unshackling Sudoku and Puzzles. Ashish here, and today I'll be covering a puzzle genre called Aqre Puzzle by Eric Fox. So this puzzle genre is a recently invented puzzle genre and it was invented by Eric Fox himself, and it's a really good puzzle type I would say. So I really thank Eric Fox for giving us an opportunity to cover a video on this puzzle genre, and there will be two puzzles that I'll be solving today in this video. One will be a medium puzzle and the other one would be an harder one, and both of these puzzles are taken by Eric Fox, right? Constructed by Eric Fox, and Eric Fox is an excellent constructor, I would say. He has started constructions recently, but he is an excellent constructor. He has created so many puzzles and sudokus, and he has his own blog where he publishes them, right? So I will add the link in the description below for the blog page where Eric publishes his puzzles, and the online interface of the puzzles that we'll be solving today. And now before going to the puzzle, I would really suggest you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. It will really motivate us to cover videos on daily basis, and if at all you have a request for any puzzle video, puzzle genre or a sudoku variant, do let us know in the comment below and we'll surely make a video on it. And now coming on to the puzzle, the rules are quite simple. We have to shade some white cells black in the grid, right, in such a way that you don't have more than 3 consecutive shaded cells or unshaded cells anywhere in a row or column. So for example, you cannot have 4 shaded cells in a row or column anywhere in the grid, right? 4 continuous shaded cells or 4 continuous unshaded cells. Both of these both of these are not possible in the grid, and all the shaded cells in the grid will have to be connected to each other, right? And there are some regions with numbers in the grid. So the numbers indicates how many of the cells in that region will be shaded. Very simple rules. I'll again brief you with the rules. You have to shade some white cells black in such a way that there cannot be more than 3 shaded or unshaded cells continuously anywhere in the grid, and all the shaded cells will have to be connected to each other in the grid, and the numbers indicate how many of these cells in that region will be shaded. So this is a medium puzzle, and this was posted on his blog too. So we'll start the puzzle. So as you can see here, the usual logic in such kind of shading puzzle is you will have to look out for numbers with the highest number in the region, right? So in this region it has the 8. So out of these 9 cells, 8 cells would have to be shaded, right? And now which cell won't be shaded, it's really difficult to say now, but you can say one thing is that whatever cell will be unshaded, the other 2 lines, so there are 3 columns, right? 3 columns in this region. So whichever cell is unshaded, the other 2 columns will have 3 cells continuous shaded, right? So if this cell is unshaded, these 2 lines have 3 continuous cells shaded. If this cell is unshaded, these 2 lines, and if this cell is unshaded, these 2 lines. So whatever be the case, you'll have exactly 2 lines which will have 3 cells continuously shaded, which means that above that line and below that line the cells will have to be unshaded. So if it is this line, then these 2 cells will have to be unshaded. If this is the line, these 2 cells will have to be unshaded. So whatever be the case, there will be exactly 2 cells out of these 3 cells, right? There will be exactly 2 cells out of these 3 cells which will have to be unshaded. Superb, right? And this is the start logic here, which means that out of the 9 cells, 2 cells are already in this row which will have to be unshaded, so all the other cells will have to be shaded, right? Excellent logic, and which means that these 2 cells will have to be unshaded. And now other logic here is excellent again, because of the 8 you got the 7 shaded, you got the shaded cells in the 7 region, and now because of the 7 you will get shaded cells in the 8 region. Excellent, right? So if you see here, now for the 7 here, out of these 3 cells, 1 cell will have to be shaded, right? We are not sure which cell, but whatever cell be shaded, the cell below it will have to be unshaded. So if it is this cell would have to be unshaded. If it is this cell, then this, and if it is this cell, then this, because you cannot have more than 3 continuous shaded cells. So which means that for the 8 here, out of the 9 cells, 1 cell will be unshaded, and it has to be somewhere in these 3 cells, right? Which means that all the other cells will have to be shaded. Excellent logic. Now one more excellent logic here is, if I unshade this cell for the 7, there is no way that you can take the shaded cell, connect to the other part of the grid, because both of these cells, so if this is shaded, this also will have to be shaded. If this is shaded, this also will have to be shaded, and you'll have a continuous cells of more than 3 that are shaded, which means that it has to be this cell which have to be shaded for the 7, and other 2 cells will have to be unshaded, and it will be this cell which will be unshaded and other 2 cells will be shaded. So both of these will be unshaded. The black region will have to go out this way, and okay, so this black region will have to come out this way, and this will be unshaded again because you already have 3 cells shaded here now. So this has to go out this way, and as you can see here, now that we know that there will be some out of 4 cells will have to be shaded, and that has to go out this way, right? There is only one way that the shaded cells here will have to go out, so it has to be this way. So now both of these cells will be unshaded because it cannot have more than 3, and you have exactly 4 cells out of the 5 that has to be shaded. So you have exactly 5 cells here in this region that are shaded now, and this cell would go up now. And okay, so we have solved till this now. Let us see if we get anything else. Okay, now that's an excellent logic here again. Is if this cell is unshaded, what happen here is for the 6 all the other cells will have to be shaded, and both of these cells will be unshaded. So you have exactly 6 cells remaining in the 7 region, right? Not possible. So which means that this cell would have to be shaded now. And okay, anything else we are missing here? It's a really good puzzle, I would say. So I can see here something here is that I can see something here is that if one of these 2 cells are unshaded, all of these 4 cells will be shaded, and then you will have more than 3 shaded cells in these 2 regions, right? So if this is unshaded, these will be shaded. If this is unshaded, these will be shaded, right? So whatever be the case, none of these 2 cells will have unshaded cell, and both of these will be shaded now. Is there anything else we can get here? So which means that this would have to be unshaded now. Okay, okay, very easy logic again we missed it here, is that for the 7 here we know that 2 cells will be unshaded. It can be in it surely will have to be in the 2 different rows, right? So it cannot be in the same row, because then both of these cells will be unshaded in the 7 region. So what happens here is that if any of these 2 cells or any of the 2 cells which are unshaded, the third row will have 3 continuous shaded cells, which will make one of the unshaded cells in this row column, right? So 7 will have one of the unshaded cells in one of these 3 cells, which means that all the other cells will have to be shaded. All these 2 cells will have to be shaded, right? And okay, do we get anything that? Okay, nothing much here. Now for the 6 here, both of these cells cannot be shaded, because then you will have 5 continuous shaded cells. So one of these 2 cells will be unshaded, so all the others will be shaded here. And for the 7 now we get the unshaded cells here, so this will be shaded and this will be unshaded. Okay, and this will be unshaded again. And for the 5 now, as you can see, out of the 5 remaining cells, 4 cells will have to be shaded, and it cannot be all these 3 cells cannot be shaded. Then you will have 4 cells continuous shaded here, which means that these 2 cells will have to be shaded again. And okay, and for the 7 here again, a very good logic here is all these 3 cells won't be shaded, right? Because then you will have 4 cells shaded in this continuous. So which means one of the unshaded cells will have to be in one of these 3 cells, so all the other cells will have to be shaded. Again, excellent, really good logic here. And And again for the 7 here, again superb. For this 7, I can say that one of the unshaded cells will have to be in these 3 cells, because all these 3 cells cannot be shaded, right? And one of the unshaded cells will have to be in these 3 cells, because all these 3 cells cannot be shaded. So you already have 2 unshaded cells in that region. All the other cells will have to be shaded. Okay. And again for the 6 here, one of the unshaded cells will have to be in these 3 cells, one of the unshaded cells will have to be in these 3 cells. So you already have 3 unshaded cells, so all the other 6 cells will have to be shaded. Okay, that is also done here. A really good puzzle, I would say. Oh, really sharp logic. Let me see if there is any other intended solve path. It's really sharp logic. I could see something here. Is that oh, that's a really excellent logic. So if this cell is shaded here, both of these cells will be unshaded, right? Because you have 3 shaded cells here, 3 shaded cells here, which means that this group of shaded cell is now stranded and cannot connect to any other group of shaded cells, right? So it cannot go out this way, it cannot go out this way, which means that this cell would have to be unshaded. And we knew that one of these 3 cells will be unshaded, and we already marked the unshaded cell. So both of these cells will be unshaded, shaded, and one of these 3 cells will be unshaded, right? So this is unshaded now, and both of these will be shaded now, because we knew that one of these 3 cells will be unshaded. So superb. And now both of these will be unshaded, so this will be shaded, and both of these will be shaded, so this will be unshaded, and both of these will be shaded, right? Excellent. And this will also be unshaded because 3 shaded cells, so this will be unshaded now, and both of these will be shaded. And with that we complete this excellent medium puzzle. I wouldn't say this was a medium puzzle, of course, because this was really a tough one, not an easy one to see. And as you can see here, all these shaded cells are connected to each other, and if at all you see, none of these shaded cells have more than 3 consecutive group of shaded cells in a single line, right? So this was an excellent puzzle. Now let us go with the other harder puzzle. This is one of the harder puzzles from Eric's blog, one of the toughest one. So let us see if we can solve this puzzle. And okay, so as you can see the 6 here, this can be the start here. I can see something from this start. So all these 4 cells, so there are exactly 7 cells in this region, which makes us clear that one cell will be unshaded, right? And all these 4 cells cannot be shaded, then you'll have 4 continuous shaded cells. So one of the unshaded cells will have to be in one of these 4 cells, right? So all these 3 cells will be shaded. And okay, same way for the 1 here. You cannot have shaded cell in anywhere in these 3 cells, right? Because then all these 5 cells will be unshaded, and then you will have again 5 continuous unshaded cells. Not possible, right? So all these 3 cells will be unshaded, so both of these will have to be shaded. And again this cannot be shaded, so 4 unshaded cells, not possible. This also cannot be shaded because again 4 unshaded cells, so this also will be unshaded. And so the 5 has to come out this way. Oh, superb, excellent logic. So if you see here now, you need to have one shaded cell out of these 3 cells, right? And wherever be the shaded cell, it has to go out this way, right? So if this is the shaded cell, it has to go out this way. If this is the shaded cell, it has to go out this way, and same way. So which means that both of these will be unshaded, and this will have to be the shaded cell for the 1. And both of these will be unshaded, because you cannot shade and take this shaded cell group outside, right? So this has to come out this way and this way. And now for the 4, one cell again would have to be unshaded. I mean to say, it has to be shaded. It will either be this cell and go down, or it will either be this cell and go down. Not sure about it. This cell will have to be shaded again, and both of these cells will have to be shaded, because 3 unshaded cells are already in there. They are in this column. Okay. So now if you see here, you cannot shade this cell, because then this group of 5 cells cannot be taken out and connect to the other group of shaded cells, right? So this will be unshaded. This is, so one of these shaded cells will have to be either this or this, right, to make sure that this group of shaded cells come out. So all the other cells will be unshaded. So this is shaded now, and again this is shaded, easy one, I missed that. 3 shaded cells are already there, so this would have to be shaded, and which makes this cell as shaded again. Okay, and we know that, excellent logic. So there are exactly how many? 5 and 5, 10 cells remaining, excluding this unshaded cell. There are exactly 10 cells remaining, out of which 9 would have to be shaded, right? And which means that one of these shaded cells will have to be in one of these 3 cells, right? So we can shade the other cells. And now exactly, we cannot shade this cell, because then you'll have 4 continuous shaded cells. This cell would have to be unshaded, both of these cells will be shaded now. Okay, that's nice. Oh, superb logic. I'm not sure if that is the intended solve part to continue this puzzle. There is an excellent logic with the last row. I can see here is the 7 logic. Okay, that is something that I could see with the 7 logic here. Sorry. Can this cell be unshaded here? So if this cell is unshaded, now out of the 8 cells, 7 cells would have to be shaded, and either one side of the unshaded cell, either this side or this side, you will have 4 shaded cells continuous, right? So if you have unshaded cell in one of the in the left side, you will have these 4 cells as unshaded cells, and if you have unshaded cell in this side, these 4 cells will have to be shaded, which means that this cell would have to be a shaded cell, and that makes this cell as unshaded now. Excellent, superb, right? And excellent logic now again, guys, superb logic. That's really excellent logic here. So if you unshade this cell, what happens here is you'll have 4 shaded cells and some of the shaded cells here, and to take this group of shaded cell outside, there is only one way to go, and you'll have 4 shaded cells continuous in the line, right? Which means that this cell would have to be shaded, and this group of shaded cells has to go out this way. So both of these will be unshaded, it has to go out this way, so this will have to be unshaded again, and it will come down because this group of shaded cell has to go this way only, right? And this will be shaded because 3 unshaded cells are already there. So this cannot be shaded now, because to come out you will have 5 shaded cells. So this will be unshaded and this will be shaded. Superb. And now we can directly say that this group of shaded cell cannot come out this way, right? So there is a blockage somewhere here that will block this group of shaded cells to go below the grid, and it has already gone from above the grid, right? And okay, something here I'm missing. It seems to be a difficult one now. Let's see if I am getting anything here. If this cell is shaded, both of these cells will be unshaded. Okay, still possible here. This cell is unshaded here. This group of shaded cell has to come out this way, go up this way. Oh, I could see the contradiction here. A really sharp one, I would say. Very difficult one to see. I'm not sure if that is the intended solve path, but I could see something here is that if this cell is unshaded here, this group of shaded cell cannot go from down, that we have already deduced it. So it has to come out this way, which makes this cell an unshaded, and this group of shaded cell has to go down this way only, so which makes this as also unshaded. Now as you can see here, there will be group of shaded cell here somewhere in the bottom right grid, right? So that won't be connected to anywhere in the upper left of the shaded cell group. Not possible. So that's a really difficult one, which means that this cell would have to be shaded, which makes both of this cell as unshaded because of the 3 shaded and 3 shaded cells here. And now again, so this whole group of shaded cell has to come out this way. There is no way you can connect with this group of shaded cells. This group has to be connected to this group, right? So it has to go down, which makes both of these cells as unshaded, these two cells as shaded, and it has to come down this way again. So do you have 6 shaded cells already here? 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this would have to be unshaded, which makes this as shaded and this as unshaded, and again this has to come out this way. So 3 cells are already shaded now. Both of these will be unshaded, and it has to come down this way, right? And so this group of shaded cell has to connect this way. So both of these will be okay, no, I am okay. So if I shade this, both of these will be unshaded and you won't have. So this cell would have to be shaded, not possible, right? So this cell won't be shaded now. So this has to go out this way, this will be shaded, and you have exactly 7 cells to be shaded. And with that we complete this gorgeous puzzle. This was a really difficult puzzle. There were quite a few number of sharp deductions to see. The 5, the 1, the 4 going out, and this was the most difficult deduction in this puzzle. And it is really a I would say fun genre to solve, a very good one. I really enjoyed solving both of these puzzles, and I would really suggest that you check out the Eric's blog that has many more Aqre puzzles, and you will really enjoy solving those. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Do like and comment if you want us to solve any other Sudoku variant or a puzzle genre, and don't forget to subscribe the channel. Thank you.